Welcome back to Fairy Tail Anime Review, episode number 31. This one I'm reviewing the 299th episode of Fairy Tail Anime Natsu Revived, covering adapted chapters 276 to 278. There are two major things that happens in this episode. First of which, we have the conclusion of the fight where you have Sherry, Wendy, and Altair taking on the Moria. And Moria, of course, is in her Kronos form. Altair basically does the whole third origin thing, and it's shown in flashback. Of course, they do show that you think that Wendy's going to get it because, Wendy's going to sacrifice her power to save her friends, but no, it's actually Sherry who gets it, and she unlocks her hidden potential. And Sherry points out, though, she's a god slayer, and this woman's a god, so why the heck not? So she uses her power, and she calls this her final battle, and she beats Moria pretty easily in a pretty brutal battle. And Altair basically dissolves, and you next see her as No Lady. Yeah, this is sort of an illusion in a way, but yeah, it's still unknown exactly how in the world she managed to age like 50 years. This why I think when you look at Altair, she looks like a woman probably in her 20s or 30s. And yet, she is supposed to be, or the other version of her, is supposed to look like she's probably in her 70s or 80s. It's never explained. And of course, Wendy's upset. Of course, she heals up Carla. And of course, she's upset because Sherry lost her power, so she's crying. And Carla is wondering what the heck is going on. And then, of course, time resumes in that area. Yeah, and that wraps up that. And then we cut back to the Fairy Tail Hall, where you see Natsu still unconscious. He's been unconscious now about 2 or 3 episodes. And then we have, cut to the main hall. Mavis is noticing something wrong. All of a sudden, Jacob of the Spriggan 12 shows up. Of course, they also, prior to this, they're informed that the Mars thing, oh yeah, we're halfway through. No, you're not. You've only defeated 4 people. You defeated Aji, the Desert King, Brandyish, the Moria, and Wall. That's 4 people. It's called the Spriggan 12. You got 8 left. 8. You're not even halfway there. You're almost halfway, but not exactly. Of course, we see also a mysterious redheaded woman. I know who this woman is, and she is one evil person. And she's related to Urza. I'm not going to spoil who she is, but we see her off in the distance. She doesn't do anything in this episode. You see her basically spend a couple lines, but that's it. You don't know who this woman is. You see her in the opening titles of the episode, but you don't know who she is yet. Though she has strike with him as Urza. And her magic is very similar to Urza. Though she's not explained for 7 episodes. She's not going to, hopefully not going to be explained for a little while. You see Jacob show up, and he apparently doesn't have his own division like everybody else does. He apparently just goes up there by himself, and it's explained he's an assassin. Also, apparently the dub actor gave him a British accent because he says bollocks. Yeah, I would not expect that for a series originally made in Japanese. That we give a character who does look like he's definitely British, especially with the scruffy looking face. And apparently he's an assassin who makes people disappear pretty quickly. And he sends everybody except for Mavis and 3 other people, which I'll explain that in a minute. And apparently he can see Mavis despite the fact she's invisible to anybody who doesn't have Fairy Tail mark. Yeah, it's explained that his magic. It's explained that his magic allows him to see her, and then he decides to torture her, which also apparently causes the crystal has her actual body to start cracking. Yep. And she tries to land more of a blow, and then all of a sudden, Lucy shows up in her Tauros dress, basically a cowgirl look, and kicks him really hard. And she's like, how in the world did you manage to survive? I thought everybody was sucked into another dimension. As explained via a flashback taking place 5 minutes prior. This is where basically the comedy starts for this episode. Okay, so apparently the clock man, the slush spirit who basically is who is a sentient grandfather clock, senses something a disturbance in space-time continuum, so he transports Lucy, Happy, and Natsu inside of his body And apparently he managed to strip both Natsu and Lucy butt naked. Okay, this one that was really funny. And of course Lucy's trying to cover up, and Happy's like, oh look, here's the dragon roar, and he's basically standing in front of his groin. Using Happy as a censor, as a way to censor private parts is so funny. I mean, yes, you gotta censor stuff because probably maybe some little kids will watch this, but man, that is one hilarious way to censor using Happy, the mascot of the series. Yep. And of course they get their new attires, and of course Natsu himself gets pretty much puts back on his normal look, and of course he comes in pretty much like a badass, beats up Jacob, and then of course he holds down, and then Jacob basically, after the fight Jacob holds him down, and then Jacob does something really unusual. He makes Lucy's clothes disappear, and then Happy once again is used as a censor, where he stands right in front of Lucy. Last time I checked, Happy is not this big where he can censor someone who's fully butt naked. And apparently Natsu has no problem seeing Lucy butt naked because he has seen it when I closed them before, so this is not unusual. Apparently Jacob is so embarrassed that he closes his eyes, and then Natsu tricks him into thinking that him and Lucy were having sex, despite the fact that he's being held down. He's like, oh, don't take off your underwear. And, oh my, your breasts are so soft. Yeah, these are lines that Todd Heppercorn had to say in this episode. I'm just laughing at this. It's so funny. And eventually Natsu gets him off him, and he's like, okay, I'm basically making your clothes reappear again. Because you guys are so weird. Yeah, this is so funny. I'm sure Todd Eppicorn probably had a blast doing this one episode because I'm sure him and Lucy Christian must have had a laugh doing this particular scene. But though it's hard though that I'm sure that if Sabat basically was talking about this episode, like, man, why isn't my character in this episode? He'd probably be so hilarious. Though he's not in this portion of the manga, so whatever. And of course, the episode ends with Natsu resuming his battle with Jacob. Oh my gosh. Who knew an episode that started out pretty serious would turn into a comedy act? Yeah, it's so funny. Also, prior to making everybody disappear, Jacob asks for a drink, and he asks like maybe like a beer, and Makaro's like, I'm not serving you alcohol. And of course, yeah, he has a very good reason why to decline the offer. I mean, heck, I appreciate the fact Jacob points out that, man, this is a nice looking guild hall. At least he treated the building with respect, despite the fact he basically damaged the floor, and he pretty much also broke several tables. Which, by the way, despite the fact that here's kind of the thing, despite like the floor's ever damaged before, the table's been broken many times over the course of the series. So seeing a table's broken is not really something to cry home about. Seeing the floor get damaged, that is something that caused some damage. Though I should point out though, this is the third version of the main guild hall, because the guild hall building has been destroyed twice. The first time was by Phantom Lord. They pretty much heavily damaged the place. They had to rebuild it. The second time is when basically Tartarus decided to blow it up as a freaking bomb that Elfman had to be forced to bring in. Yeah. But aside from the comedy act stuff, Jacob was probably one of the most well-written characters this episode because I love his comments about the guild hall. Because here's kind of the thing: anybody who's not a Fairy Tail guild member, nobody has ever commented about the hall itself that much over the course of the series, but saying how nice it looks. Yeah, it's just so fun. I'm sure my friend Edgar, when he gets his episode, he's probably gonna have such a laugh at this episode because of the comedy in here. Because why the heck not? Yeah, though it's kind of interesting though for this episode now I do have a theory of why Sherry was the one that had her lose her power and not Wendy. Because Wendy is one of the main characters of the series. Sherry just a reoccurring character, not a regular character. She's a reoccurring character. So that's probably the reason why they had to lose her power and not Wendy, because she's probably a character that the writer himself probably spent so much on developing that he did not want to have her lose her power and just basically go in retirement. Sherry is probably an okay sacrifice her power to do this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but otherwise, though, that's really it. One really good episode. I'm definitely looking forward next week. There's going to be a lot more brawling next episode. Yep. But who knows? Maybe we're going to have some comedy like we did this episode. So, yeah. That's it for this particular review. I would do another review tonight, but I don't think I'll have time to. Because, well, my next review would be Ace Attorney. But I will do one more video. A Comic Corner. And you'll find out what it is in the next video, okay? But see you in the next video. Bye.